Welcome to Best Life Ever, the podcast with your hosts, time and energy coaches, Kimi and Pua. Hi, Pua.
What's up?
Well, we are excited to kick off today's episode with the iTunes review of the week.
Okay.
So we are thrilled to share with you a really fun iTunes review that came in from Patrick Gartside.
Awesome. Guys, we're super stoked about this because this podcast episode, and actually all of this month's podcast episodes, are brought to you by Hawaii Health Hub. And we have a float at the Health Hub to give away. And how you can win this float is to leave us an iTunes review. So Patrick, you are officially in the running to win a float at Hawaii Health Hub. Here's what Patrick wrote. What can I say about Kimi and Pua? No matter how hard I try, I know that words will never be enough. These two amazing ladies radiate joy and success. Their simple bits of life advice will help you to unlock your potential within. I am so fortunate to have them in my life as they have helped me to navigate my path and to maintain resilience all the while. I listen every week, and I even sneak in a historic episode of Hot Better Pop Radio, from time to time. This makes such a difference in my life, and if you listen, I'm sure you'll see it too. Thank you for all that you do, Kimi and Pua.
Aww.
Oh my God, that's so awesome. I want to give Patrick 2 entries to win a float.
That's just everything. Yeah, we can do that.
You mentioned Hot Better Pop, you get 2.
I love it. Oh, wow. Well, my heart is just bursting. Thank you so much, Patrick. You are amazing. And so get
what
your
is a float.
Oh, funny you should ask. So a float, if you haven't heard about it, is it's a float therapy session, and this is where you basically lay in a sensory deprivation tank. And it's think of it almost like meditation on steroids. Like, it is a really, really amazing way to just get into that. They call it a theta state, and where you're just really completely relaxed. Your body is weightless in all of this high salinated, is that a word? Water. And
it is now.
So there's so many benefits, and we'll share a link in this episode to find out more about Hawaii Health Hub. Hawaii Health Hub, by the way, also has other services like massage and cryotherapy, but really just a bunch of awesome services to help you to live your best life ever. So get your iTunes review in to be entered to win your float session, 90-minute float session.
Salinated.
That's exactly what I said. Salinated. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you, Patrick. And thanks everyone for listening. It really means so much to us.
For sure. And if you guys don't know, podcast reviews and iTunes review actually help us to reach a greater audience. So it's just something that you can do for us to help grow our listeners and grow our podcast. And we are so, so grateful for all of you and for listening, because it makes us so happy when people are like, wait, you guys have that podcast, right? We're like, yes, actually we do.
Yeah. All right. So today we are talking about something that is near and dear to our hearts. Well, actually, everything we talk about is, obviously, because that's how we roll. But we love talking about ways to manage your energy, specifically through the habits and lifestyle that you have, whether that be nutrition, the way that you move your body. Yeah, you're basically your daily habits. So we're going to talk with you a little bit about the different ways to generate energy and the difference between what we like to think of as sustainable sources of energy and unsustainable sources of energy.
For sure. And I think what really breaks our heart, one of the things that breaks our heart is people who are going about their day and just not feeling super good, right? Kimi and I always say one of our secret missions is to just help people to not feel crappy. And we don't like feeling crappy ourselves. And so we've really worked for many years just studying and hacking how we feel, our energy levels. You guys know Kimi and I were fitness coaches for a long time. And, even health and fitness and all of these things really, they're all connected. And our energy is what helps us to be more productive. It helps us to have better time management. It helps us to, get our workouts in, and all of these things, care for our family, care for ourselves better. These all are dependent on our energy. And so Kimi and I spent some time preparing for this, and we looked at energy in terms of sustainability and unsustainability. But just kind of think about how you go about your day. And we'll describe for you, the average working adult, right? So you wake up and you sleep your alarm a couple times. Your phone's right by your bed, and after you look at your clock and you may have slept through too many alarms, and you look at it and you wake up, you're kind of in that, you already wake up in a panic mode, right? So there's elevated stress levels, elevated cortisol levels. Maybe you look at your phone and you see all these notifications that you missed while you were sleeping. All of these emails came through, text messages, social media. So you get up, you do what you got to do. You pound a couple cups of coffee. Maybe you grab something quick for breakfast. A lot of us have sugary things for breakfast, maybe. And then you get to work and you open your email right away. What does that do? That puts us in reactive mode. We're reacting to all of these emails that came in. We're putting other people's priorities ahead of ours, right? You go about your day, you have that little burst of energy from your coffee and your sweet breakfast, and then we hit that crash, right? So we go to lunch, we find something delicious, we eat it, and then we're super tired. So what do? We hit the coffee again, maybe 1 or 2 afternoon cups of coffee to get us through the rest of our day. And by the time we leave, our brain is totally done. We're exhausted. We drive home. We're with our family, but we're tired from work. We might be grouchy. We eat a big dinner, and, we maybe spend some time on our computer or on Facebook or watching Netflix, and then we go to bed, and the cycle starts all over again. I know that not everybody's day looks just like that, but that seems to be, if someone's feeling a little low on the energy scale, a day like that is sort of typical. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are little bursts of energy that come from all of those things that you mentioned. And so it can be confusing because we can often feel like energy is coming from that hit of coffee. We feel like, okay, I can get energy from being a little bit stressed, right? So there are these ways to generate energy that may have short-term benefit. However, in the long term, they can add to, as you said, feeling crappy. They can lead to burnout. They can definitely lead to long-term health issues, and also really leave us feeling, as you said, at the end of the day, just really depleted and unfulfilled, on top of that. And so what we'd like to encourage you to think about as you go about your week this week is to just think about where you currently get your energy, and is it sustainable? Are you getting your energy from renewable resources, if you will, and from places that, are you fueling yourself throughout the day, or are you doing things that give you a short burst of energy, but then deplete you along the way? And we'll give you some suggestions for maybe some more sustainable practices as a way to generate energy.
Yeah, for sure. And Kimi made a good point. A lot of these unsustainable energy sources like coffee or caffeine, stress, these are things that actually in small amounts can be actually good for our productivity, or if it's done in a way that provides long-term energy, right? So, we'll talk a little bit more about these things in detail in our FIX trainings, if you guys are in the FIX, or, in a future podcast. But, for example, adding an L-theanine supplement to your coffee intake can actually help to take that caffeine spike and stretch it out and reduce that crash effect. Or having a deadline can help, right? It's Parkinson's law. So give yourself a deadline for a task. That little bit of stress, little bit of pressure helps you to get something done, and you're actually productive and efficient. But what starts to drain us long term and actually provides us less or more harm than good is when those stress levels are long term, when it's chronic, right? You're always in reactive mode. You're always kind of feeling like there's always something that needs your attention. You're always putting out those fires. That's when it really starts to affect our health and our happiness.
Yes. So we've talked here a little bit about those unsustainable sources of energy, whether it be stress, cortisol, caffeine, sugar, drugs, panic, guilt, whatever it may be that gives us that little burst. But let's talk about some sustainable then sources of energy, ones that we can rely upon with confidence that they're not going to do us long-term damage and that they'll actually give us a more sustainable, long-term steady buzz of energy rather than that spike in the crash. And so, of course, one of the things, and this is so, we've been talking about this so much in the FIX trainings. It's so fascinating to us, but nutrition is a really, really important one and probably one of the most underutilized sources of energy. And also, maybe some types of foods are the most abused kind of things that are leaving us feeling depleted as well. So we really believe in a low glycemic, meaning a low sugar, something that doesn't spike your glycemic levels, type of nutrition that gives you a slow, steady bit of energy throughout the day.
For sure. The other thing that gives us energy, and it can sound a little counterintuitive, is partaking in activities that are in alignment with your values or that bring you a sense of purpose. And so it's funny because Kimi and I can put in an 8, 9, 10 hour workday on best life ever things, workshop. We can go and do a workshop and then we can go to a couple of meetings and we don't feel tired. We're not exhausted because we love what we're doing and, our why is so strong. So things that are in alignment that bring you purpose and clarity actually can energize us, right? And the opposite is very true too. If you're doing things that aren't exactly in alignment with the way you want to live your life or your values, it can a very small amount of time spent on something that is misaligned can really drain your energy. So it's kind of worth taking a look at that and seeing how those things are affecting your day to day.
Yes, absolutely. And if you haven't listened to our episode on working in Pomodoros, I think this is a tricky thing because when you get really excited and inspired and are super aligned in what you're doing, we can still, even then, because of all that energy that we're getting, forget to take restorative breaks and restoration and rest and getting just sort of recharging our batteries throughout the day is a really great way for more sustained energy. So how you are using those 5-minute Pomodoro breaks and taking breaks throughout the day is a really important way to kind of keep to think about your energy and the way that you're going to make it last throughout the day, especially almost when you're inspired by what you're doing, right?
Oh my God, I'm the worst at that. I always skip my Pomodoro break. Not always, but yeah. Work in progress.
Right. Well, at least it brings mindfulness, right? So at least we know when we're skipping our Pomodoro breaks.
The thing too, I'm sure people can relate to this. I used to work and skip lunch and just not even realize that I hadn't eaten for 6 hours. And there's a part of our society that kind of celebrates that, right? Oh, I skipped lunch today. I just worked through lunch. People are like, good for you. It's just oh no. So if anything, those Pomodoro breaks remind me that, oh yeah, I do have to pee and I do have to eat.
Right. And maybe move your body too. That's the other thing we forget. And one, way to sort of drain your energy is to just sit all day long. So if you can, to re-energize yourself a bit more, get up frequently, walk around. We hear a lot of people working with standing workstations now, which is a really cool movement. And,
sitting
we've
is
even
the new
seen,
smoking.
right. Yeah. And there's even those treadmill workstations too, which, kind of scare and excite me at the same time.
Okay. I mean, I look at those and I'm like, okay, what is this really? Like, is this really cool? Or is it like, I feel like I couldn't do those two things at the same time. I couldn't walk and work. I don't know. Just me?
It really depends on what type of work you're doing and how fast you're walking.
Yeah, I guess so. I feel like if I'm going to bother walking, I want to like walk.
I think it's a great thing for phone calls and things that, like there are certain types of tasks for sure. And I think there's a certain pace at which you want to move. Because
right, like if you're walking so slow that you're basically standing, then just stand. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't understand those, but I've never tried it.
Well, if somebody wants to sponsor us with a treadmill desk, then we'll try it out and talk about it on the podcast. How about that?
Or we'll just go to the gym and like bring a bunch of work stuff with us and a bunch of cameras.
I like that idea. So as you're thinking about these, so again, sustainable energy can come from getting good sleep, getting good rest, low glycemic, solid nutrition, making sure that you're taking restorative breaks, making sure that you're in alignment with what it is that you're doing. I mean, just having joy in the work that you do can be such a sustainable energy source in itself. I mean, the power of laughter and excitement is they're so huge in the way that we generate energy in our bodies. So, as you go about your week this week, definitely think about where you're currently getting your energy and ask yourself the question of, is it sustainable? So we encourage you to maybe just do a little journaling exercise, write a list of what your current energy sources are. And instead of, trying to change everything all at once, we like the idea of thinking big, but acting small. So really, pick maybe one non-sustainable energy source that you could replace with a sustainable one, and think about one new habit that might add a little bit more sustainable energy to your day and your life, and start there. And we would love to hear from you about this. So post on our Facebook page, post in our tribe group. If you're not there yet, definitely find Best Life Ever, the tribe, and get hooked in. And of course, all this month in BLE FIX, we are talking about nutrition, fitness, sleep and restoration, supplements, and more. So definitely hop on the FIX. We go into so much more detail about all of this stuff. And if you're not familiar with it already, BLE FIX is our monthly subscription for motivated individuals who are ready to really transform their personal and professional lives in a fun way. And we have live trainings. We've got all sorts of tips and tools and resources for you to increase your time, your energy, and your productivity, and just feel more fulfilled.
Guys, we love the FIX so much, and we would love to have you join us. We are giving you guys a special 30-day free VIP trial just for being a podcast listener. So jump on in. Go to kimiandpua.com/BLEFIX VIP 30. We'll pop that into the show notes as well. And join us for 30 days free. We know you're going to absolutely love it. And we can't wait to see you guys.
Awesome, guys. Well, we wish you a supercharged, energetic week, and we will talk to you soon.